You know that moment when you say something to your child and you instantly watch their face change? That flicker in their eyes, that wall that goes up, and suddenly the kid who is right there with you is completely gone. You didn't say anything cruel. You didn't yell. You just said something, and now there's this invisible distance between you that you don't know how to close. That moment right there, that's not a parenting failure. That's a communication gap. And today we're going to close it forever. Because here's the thing most parents never figure out. The problem was never what you said. It was how your child heard it. And those are two completely different things. Before we go any further, if you are already feeling something in your chest right now, if you are already thinking about a specific moment with your child, we have programs linked down below in this video description that go so much deeper than what we can cover here. Parents who have gone through them describe complete transformations in how they connect with their children. The results happen fast, and space inside is not unlimited. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. But for now, let me give you something you can use today. Let me paint you a picture. Dinner is done. The house is quiet for once. You sit down next to your child, maybe on the couch, maybe at the kitchen table, and you try to start a conversation. You ask how their day was. They say fine. You ask what happened at school. They shrug. You push a little. You're not nagging. You genuinely want to connect. You miss them. You love them so deeply it physically hurts sometimes. But every question feels like you're poking at something fragile, and they just keep retreating further. So eventually you stop trying. And inside, quietly, something in you breaks a little. That's not a dramatic exaggeration. That's Tuesday night for millions of parents right now. And the worst part, the absolute worst part? Your child isn't doing it to hurt you. They are not trying to shut you out. Something in how modern communication flows between parents and children creates this invisible wall, and neither side knows how to take it down. You're not failing as a parent. You are operating with tools that were never designed for this job. Here's what nobody tells you. The communication skill that changes everything is not about talking more. It's not about finding the perfect words. It is about something called reflective listening. And when you truly master it, your child will start talking to you like you are the safest person in their world. Because you will be. Reflective listening sounds simple. But the depth of it, when you really understand it, is extraordinary. Most of us were taught to listen to respond. We hear our child say something, and while they're still talking, our brain is already preparing the answer, the advice, the correction, the encouragement. We are so focused on what we're going to say next that we only catch about half of what they actually said. And children feel that. They feel when they're not truly being heard. And when a child feels unheard long enough, they stop talking. Reflective listening means you listen to understand, not to respond. When your child says something to you, instead of immediately replying, you pause. You reflect back what they said in your own words. Not to parrot them, not to repeat them robotically, but to show them that you caught it, that you got it, that you're actually inside the moment with them. Your child comes home from school visibly upset. Old approach, you immediately ask what happened and start problem solving. New approach, you notice their energy, you sit beside them, and you simply say, "It looks like today was really hard." That's it. No question, no fix, no lecture, just a mirror of what you see. And watch what happens next. Because what happens next will make you want to cry. They start talking. Not because you asked the right question, but because they felt seen before they even said a word. That is the power of this skill. When a human being, especially a child, feels genuinely seen, they open. They cannot help it. It is biological. It is psychological. It is ancient. We are wired to connect with people who make us feel understood. Now here's where parents go wrong even when they try this. They reflect back the words but not the feeling underneath. Your child says, "I hate my teacher." And most parents, even the well-meaning ones, immediately jump into either defending the teacher or asking what happened. But what your child is really saying underneath those words is, "I had an experience today that felt unfair and it hurt me, and I need you to acknowledge that before I can process anything else." Reflect the feeling. "I can hear that you're really frustrated." And then stop talking. Let the silence breathe. Because that silence is not awkward. That silence is where trust gets built. Every parent who has tried this for the first time describes the same thing. They say it felt strange. They say it felt almost too simple. And then their child said something they had never said before. Something real. Something raw. Something that let them finally understand what was actually going on inside their kid's life. And they realized they had been missing that conversation for years. Years of thinking their child just wasn't a talker. Years of wondering why their child confided in friends or teachers but not in them. Years of bedtime check-ins that never quite scratched the surface. And one shift in how they listened changed everything in a single conversation. Now let's talk about what this actually costs you versus what it gives you back. Because the numbers here are important. The average parent and child spend less than 30 minutes a day in meaningful conversation. Of that 30 minutes, research consistently shows that the majority of talking comes from the parent, not the child. That means your child is spending the majority of their waking hours processing life without you, without your wisdom, without your love, without your guidance. Not because they don't want it, but because the channel between you got clogged somewhere along the way. Reflective listening opens that channel. Parents who develop this skill report that within days, not weeks, days, their children begin initiating conversations on their own. They come to you, they bring you the hard stuff. They tell you things that would have otherwise stayed buried inside them until they found someone else to tell. And the difference between your child processing their pain with you versus processing it alone, or with peers who don't have the maturity to help them, is not a small difference. It is enormous. It is everything. Think about what you would give to know what your child is really going through. Think about what it would mean to be their person, their safe place, the one they call first, the one they walk toward when life gets hard instead of away from. That is not a fantasy. That is what this skill builds, one reflected feeling at a time. And here is the most important thing I want you to hear right now. You don't have to be a perfect parent to do this. You don't have to have had a perfect childhood. You don't have to have always said the right thing. This works even if you've spent years getting it wrong. Because children are remarkably resilient, and they are waiting, even right now, even after every slammed door and every silent dinner. They are waiting for you to show up differently. They haven't given up on you. Please don't give up on this. Start tonight. One conversation. One moment where you reflect instead of respond. One moment where you choose to understand before you speak. That single choice, made consistently, becomes the foundation your child will stand on for the rest of their life. And if you want to go further, if you want to build this skill deeply and quickly, if you want the tools, the frameworks, and the guided support that transforms how you communicate not just with your child but in every relationship you have, the programs linked below in this video description are where that happens. Parents who almost gave up on connection have rebuilt everything using what's inside. Every day you wait is another day your child is building their world without you fully in it. The link is right there. The next step is yours.